even know where that is. So right now, if we get it, we can get water electrolysis, Sabatier, and Haber process. Haber makes ammonia out of nitrogen and hydrogen. We need that for pressurization. Sabatier makes water and liquid fuel. That's pretty useful. Using electric charge and carbon dioxide. So we need to bring a tankard of hydrogen to create liquid fuel. Might be useful. What was the last one? Water electrolysis. Hydrogen, oxygen. So that means that you could get Sabatier process. You would just use your water to create hydrogen and oxygen, which would both be beneficial. The carbon dioxide that you breathe out, you could use to create fuel. And that's why you have these pressurized tanks to fill up these things. Supply containers, we need these actually. Do we already have some? See, we have small supply containers, but they make it difficult to get to the Mun, I think. We're gonna have to see what we do. Maybe we can get a lander to the Mun, but we don't have a command pod, so we'd need... Okay, this still only holds one crew member. And here's the thing, I want a pilot to be able to pilot a ship. I'd want a scientist to be able to do the science and get the most benefit out of that. And I maybe want an engineer to be able to fix any errors that prop up. So what is this? That's interesting. Okay, crew must include a pilot for this. That's interesting. Oh. Crew must include a pilot. So it always says you need a pilot to fly these. Pressure control. See, so we can do pressure control. It has a scrubber. You can set the pod to do different things. So you need a pilot. That's... What is this landing module? For landing your first colony modules, even on rough terrain. Again, that is new stuff. So here's the problem. I don't have a pod that will allow me to land multiple Kerbals, which will reduce the effectiveness of landing on the Mun. Okay, this thruster block is interesting, but not super. Landing gear is... yeah, it's okay. Sorry about that. Aerodynamics. Inline cockpit might be fun. There we go, a crew cabin. That's what we need, because that gets us 2 crew capacity. Still though, we'd need a better command module, which is probably hidden behind there. Okay, to build a... The needed tools, blueprints, and high-tech components need to build a vessel off-world? Right, if you have raw materials, a workshop, and a power supply, you can build ships off-world? That is amazing. Oh, these nose cones are very useful. They will help you build cool stuff. Clampatron, that's definitely going to be useful. Material processing. Oh, wow. This apparently... Inflatable storage module? Okay, that is real cool to build colonies on other planets. That mod is real interesting. Some more small engines. We don't really need those. These can be useful, but they're not needed to get into space. Like the Utopia Planitia. I don't think that ended well, Luthor. Would be cool though. That explains all these containers over here for the stuff you use over here. Okay. It's so difficult. This is real useful though, more signs, but I think command module might be the best course of action. No, this doesn't make sense. See, it's a lightweight thing. This is real useful if you land on a planet. I think the best move would be to go for space exploration, because that gets us, for one, all these things, these different supply containers, etc. It gets us the experimental storage kit, which allows us to put a drone down on the Mun, a probe, and it gets us more science. This is the one that makes sense. First we put a probe down, then we try to get a Kerbal on the Mun. Okay. This one's still going. That's to go to demo. This one's happening. That one we're waiting 6 days for before it even reaches Minimus. Let's check if there's any other good things we can do. These tourism ones. Oh, this is easy. Get a VIP, put them on a suborbital spaceflight, grab some cash. This one's hard. 4 Kerbals on an orbit. The reason why it might be hard is we need to figure out whether we can even carry 4. Now here are 2. They want a rover launch to the Mun, and they want Speed Mouse, Huthor A, to be driven to this location. I think Speed Mouse is dead. We don't have a Speed Mouse parked anywhere. Did I follow? Part testing, it's a little boring. That's just, it doesn't pay much. Okay, this one pays a relatively good amount. Put a Kerbal in orbit for 30 days, that's too difficult right now. By the way, we have 700,000. Let's see if there's any way we can get multiple Kerbins on a rocket easily. No, see, here's the problem. We'd have to do something weird like that. Or even worse, something like that. No, we are not able to do those missions yet. So in this game, does the tech stay relatively realistic, like stuff that could move and be done in a lifetime, or can you go full sci-fi? In the base game, Huthor, the tech stays, I think, completely realistic. As in, not all engines are exact counterparts of real things, but what they do is all realistic. There's no warp drives or anything like that. However, you can add things like that with mods. That's why, for example, I have all these colonization things. They're designed to be near future, as in these are designs of things that people have talked about in 2050, 2060. That's sort of the colonization thing that's on there, near future reality. You can also go the other way. Another mod that I've just installed, not on this game, but on another game, is realistic progression and real solar system. And that adjusts Kerbal Space Program to not have Kerbin as a planet, but the Earth and the actual solar system. And all the engines are actual historical engines. And as much as they could figure out, works exactly like it does in actual space. So, for example, you can't directly control a rocket as it's lifting off. You need specific avionics for that to do that. When it's in space, you need RCS. You can't just flip a probe around. Something like that. So it's real nice. You just want a space elevator? That's the likelihood of that. Zero. Sorry. Space elevators are just not realistic in this game because of the physics. There's just no there's no physics that can get 70 kilometers of active physics in this game. It's 2 kilometers max. And here's another thing. Since it's programmed in, I think it's in Unity, but also the engine gets a little funky when you have too many individual components. So what you might see at the top left here, this is green. If you have a lot of components in physics, in the physics bubble at the same time, it starts having problems simulating that, and this will turn yellow, I think, or red if it's like super bad. And that's when you can get 1 frame per second if you have a giant spaceship that consists of so many different parts. Okay, here's what I'm looking for. What can I do? KSC, a material study. While landed at Kerbin's KSC on shores. Material study, okay. So I'm going to launch a probe that just has a materials bay. And do that, get the 0.5 science we need, and advance. Probe, material, done. You know, fine, let's give it feet. There, feet. Launches, baby. Most games are like that, Unity, you know. Oh yeah. No, I'm not blaming Unity. I'm just in this game they just call it the Kraken. Sometimes the engine freaks out, even if you don't have enough parts on it. Sometimes the engine just freaks out and destroys what you have. There we go. All we needed was a tiny bit of science to get us over 90. Now, sweet, sweet science. Or I say, this one's nice, but I wanted... Where are you? Electrics. No? Space exploration. There you are. That gets us an extra antenna for more science. Gets us the experiment storage unit. And cool stuff. We now have the water recycler in the pod. Ooh. Now that's also something we needed to go into space. So the next step gives us... Orbital telescope gives us more science. A gravity ring will give us bonuses to our Kerbal state of mind. A greenhouse. That's something we need to keep a Kerbal alive for more than 30 days. Here's the thing, though, about greenhouses. You can harvest bunches of food, but it takes 200 days to grow that. So basically, you put that in space and you forget about it for a while. Larger supply containers, EVA fuel canisters, another new sensor for biomes this time, if I recall correctly. Hitchhiker, this is what we need, see? Crew capacity 4, hitchhiker storage. That will allow us to do tourist missions. Science lab, very nice. That'll allow you to, well, for one, have another setup possibility. But also, there we go. Advance Kerbals when they reach the science lab. Level them up, basically. And I believe analyze things to produce transmittable data. So the samples you don't need to return anymore if you can return them to a lab. That is pretty darn useful. And a weather station again for surface experiments. There we go. There we go. These are the ones I want. These are the ones to land on the Mun. So our goal is 160 science. But we need to level up, and we'd also need to unlock these 2 other nodes, so 180 more science. Physics is one of the hardest things to simulate properly. Yeah. Let's see. We have 700,000 cash, so I want to see if there's anything I can reasonably improve. So far, I haven't hit the vessel size cap yet, so there's no point in upgrading this. This unknown object tracking, that's asteroids. You can, in fact, capture an asteroid and bring it into orbit. Now, this would be useful. Actually, look at that. Kerbal EVAs can collect service samples and resource transfer is available. That's pumping fuel from tank to tank. This, before we get to the Mun, we want this upgraded. And besides, the science limit, we want that leveled. This just gets us more active Kerbals. Big whoop. Administration, I've never used this, really. I guess you can do this, but this is all reduce your reputation game and get more cash. Take some science and get more cash. It allows you to exchange your 3 resources. Never used it, never looked at it, never bothered with it. This might be relevant though. Upgrading the space plane hangar and the runway, because I do like planes. Mission control, not relevant. And maybe this is too expensive, but right now we have the basic action groups. That's gear, lights, that kind of thing. Custom action groups can get you 1, 2, 3, 4, which allows you to do a whole lot more. Let's see. So, these tourists, this one VIP we should be able to do. Oh, this is easy. A polar orbit of Kerbal. That's high though. The apoapsis and periapsis, that's pretty high. We can do this though. Might be good to get some cash. Rover deployment, that's something I want to do. But it's going to hang around for 60 days, so let's ignore that for now. This, I think, what they do is, for those rover missions, they check what rovers are active, and then they try to tell you like, oh, hey, move this rover around, change it. Oh, we can watch this one burn up. That'd be fun. I don't have any active rovers though. That's what surprises me. Now, this was the earlier site that we had, so it sounds like they want us to travel to a close by site. I'm gonna check out that contract, see what it takes to cancel it, what it costs, and otherwise drive the speed mouse to this location. Destination Kerbal, below 1,000, yeah. Complete all the following. Investigate milestone. Scientist not Kerbal would like to go investigate milestone. And investigate the memorial. Complete following in order. Collect science at 2. Vessel any, okay. Collect science. Temperature scan, pressure scan, seismic scan. We can do that. 30k. It cost me 30k if I screw up. I want to see what this is. Just for the weirdness of it. They want us to drive a speed mouse there, right? The Hutor 1A speed mouse. It has all the equipment. Did we have any complaints last time? I do not believe that we did. Let's go. Let's see. I've never had a contract like this, so the only contracts I've had were when you landed a rover on the Mun, for instance. Then it'll tell you like, oh, go to this site, 3 kilometers away. Thank you for that follow. Hey there, Fub. How are you doing? Wait. And thank you for that follow. Where is that? Activate navigation. Is that in the... Oh, that's not in the water, is it? Okay. Oh, it is dark. That is not a good idea. I should have... My solar panel's not going to be working. Okay, let's just see how far our jets can take us safely. We are going to go off the beaten path and head on over. The important thing with our jet car is not to accelerate too much. Okay, you went to the movies and then went to a restaurant afterwards, now chilling at home. Nice. You went to see Valerian, didn't you? In the Huthor 1, use the pilot's oxygen to generate power? Yes, it did. The Huthor 1A still does that. In cases of emergency, we can activate the fuel cell. But now we have these babies, these jets, and they have an alternator that outputs electricity as I accelerate. Here's the downside. I'm going to turn these off now, or throttle down to lower their speed, because we are going to be launching up this if we're not careful. Yeah, the Huthor 1A is now a jet car. Look at that speed, 50. Oh, there we go, there we go. Brake, 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 brake. Brake. Oh, 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 God, oh, God. There we go, there we go. Okay, safe and sound, safe and sound. Throttle up just a little bit. Now the added bonus is, do you remember how difficult it was to get up mountains before? Now that these are jet powered, we have so much more power to actually get up these babies. And we could just use the normal motor to get us out of a jam, or just, you know, this is cruising speed, and the other one is impulse. That's I think the best analogy I can make. The film is visually interesting and creative, but lacking in plot and acting department. Visually stunning. You really like the plot, certainly not watching every Star Wars. Huh. Hey, sweetie. How are you doing? I am currently driving the Huthor 1A jet car up this mountain, because what's the worst that can happen? We need to go to a milestone and explore it. So we're going... Okay, we're slowing down heavily right now. I'm not gonna fire up our jet engine. I'm gonna do this with the wheels, because the jet engine, while it's gonna be very useful to get up... Whoa, that was a weird little lag. Things like this. Come on, come on, get up there, get up there. It also will have the tendency to launch us into space, because it's a jet engine. Oh god, where are we? Where are we? Roll into it, Jebediah! Not that much, not that swift, not that swift. Brake, brake, brake. There we go. Right now, there we go. I'm just trying to slow us down, because 30 meters a second, that's what, 90 miles an hour? It's about 120 kilometers an hour, I think. Roughly guessing. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So we are racing up on the side of a mountain at motorway speeds. Okay, there we go. This should be a little bit flatter surface. I don't even know whether this meets the requirements of this mission. Yeah, okay, see? Crew, at least one Kerbal. Check. Parts with module wheel. Yes, we are driving something with a wheel. Complete following in order. Be below 1,000 meters, we are. And then investigate the milestone. Yep, it is the Huthor. The mighty Huthor. It's actually, it's real easy to control this baby. It's amazing. Also, I'm happy that we stepped away from the Mickey Mouse design, because that was just horrific. Plus, a lawsuit waiting to happen. Oh, 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 careful, careful. So I'm keeping it at 30. We can go faster, but we would seriously risk spinning out of control, doing weird things, because it's just, you know, a jet car. Okay, just a little bit of thrust. A little bit. Because I want to keep it under 30 for the time being. Actually, is there any signs that we can get while we're here? No. Oh, there we go already. See that drifting? That is the Huthor one wanting to get out of control. Control yourself, Huthor! My god, man. I could have also just waited to do this during the day. But no, Jeb wanted to take Huthor out at night. Okay, we're about to hit 500 meters, which normally is in range. We're entering milestone. Complete the following. Investigate memorial. Okay. What is this memorial you speak of? That is 5 kilometers away. Wow. Living on a jet car just doesn't have the same ring to it? Yeah. We have a couple of space missions going right now. We have a satellite that we just put around the Mun. We have this baby that's a geosynchronous satellite that we're going to use to spy on somebody. That about a day from now needs to... Oh god! That is the Kraken. Oh god, that is something that this game sometimes does. It will pause, it will freak out, and then suddenly you might find yourself bumping on something that doesn't exist, flip over, and die. And Jebediah has already had 2 close calls with death. Oh. Thank you for that follow. Face one of your first dates with a Kerbal. Aww. Look, Jeb is a handsome man who knows a good time when he sees it. Although his good times largely involve strapping you to a giant rocket and blasting you off into space. Okay, this is a little bit too quick, Jeb. Just don't rush with Huthor. Give him time. You know, treat him gently. Carefully, Jeb, carefully. A little bit of sensitivity. My god, man. Okay, you want to know how excited Huthor is? Look at that tail going up in the air. Look at how happy he is. Okay, I'm worried that will destabilize me. Less joy, Huthor, less joy. Power up a little bit. Something rocket, something blasting. Really, Huthor? You got an ignition joke, a little Watchmen reference. Okay, we are nearing our target. We are nearing our target. We are about 1 minute away. We need to be within 500 meters to qualify as being there, but I'm worried about this. Whoa, this terrain. Look at that. A little bit bumpier.